Why did you start Upstate Snow in the first place?
There were a lot of snowmobile sites that were started back in the 2000s that did very well and I thought had great potential. I felt that I could do something a little bit different and make it on a broader scale. So as I started my own business in 2012, I had dreamed up the idea for and created UpstateSnow.com. But Nick Putniewicz and Aaron Excel from Curve Industries and Excel Motorsports respectively, those two guys, big guys in the sport in upstate New York, backed me from day one. They believed in my vision, they believed it could be something great, and if they hadn't stood by me, who knows if it would ever even got off the ground. Darren Hart from My Snow. He loved the idea, and we hit it off the first day that we met back up in Indian Lake in September of 2012, and we became very good friends, and to this day he remains one of my closest friends, and I love going riding with him. Early on there were a lot of people that had an opinion about what it should be or could be. You know, some people didn't agree with everything that I did or said, and you know, there were definitely some times to where I learned some lessons the hard way, but despite all of that, the audience grew, the popularity grew, people caught on to what I was doing, and it gained a steady following to the point where just over 2 years in, we had 250,000 page views and an audience of over 3,000 on Facebook at the time. It was December 1st, 2014. And I was at a new job in Syracuse. I had been there 10 months. They knew what I was doing and had no problem with me doing Upstate Snow. And I had become good friends with my boss, but usually bosses don't call you at 10:30 at night when they're going to see you at work the next morning. So I knew when the phone rang, it wasn't going to be good. And sure enough, I was told that conflict of interest now and that management needed me to divest of all my outside interests, including Upstate Snow, within 30 days, just as we were going into the 2014-15 snowmobile season. Like, are you kidding me? I was angry at first. You know, anytime your baby, your thing that you've created, you're basically told to walk away from, among other things that I was asked to walk away from at the time. It was not easy. It was it was tough. I tried to look at it as a positive, that I would have more time with my family, and I just but I just didn't want it to die. Dave Gleesman was a longtime friend of mine. He's a great businessman. If you ever want a car, he's the one to go to. But notwithstanding his personal business, he's also been a great snowmobile guy, very involved with the clubs, a real good, solid man. And he didn't want it to die either, so he offered to buy it from me. I'm going to be able to step back and see where it grows from there. But the weather piece was the most important piece, and that was something that I could do because I was a degreed meteorologist, but Dave wasn't. So that was when an old friend of mine, an old sky watcher who was studying for his meteorology degree at the time, he was living down in North Carolina, but he's an upstate New York native, Otsego County, and loves the snow. Blizzard of '93 was one of his favorite memories of his life. He really wanted to help me out, and just wanted to get some practical experience forecasting. So quietly behind the scenes I advised him, but at the end of the day he took over the weather, and all those forecasts that were on that site for the last several years, that's been all Chris. That was awesome. He did a great job. So we had been sold out of the sport for a few years, and I was just content to rent a time or two a year. Maybe Zach would be able to ride a time or two a year, borrowing a sled off a friend, but I was scrolling Facebook and I saw a good friend of mine that helped me out with snowmobiling early on, and I was surprised. I saw that he was selling his 2 sleds and his trailer for a very, very good price. And he had it up on Facebook for 2 days. And I thought, nah, way it's going to be available. So I texted him right away. I said, is this available? He said it was. So I made an executive decision. I said, is that the price? He said, yeah. I said, you got a deal. And I had to find a way very quickly to come up with $5,000 I didn't have. But we did it. We pulled the money together. The bank helped out a little bit. And within a week, I had his old trailer and his 2005 Skidoo MXZs, the sleds that we ride today, including the sled that my son Zach, as a 5-year-old, when we moved back to upstate New York, took his very first snowmobile ride on. Now you want to talk about God moving. That was just an incredible story. He was able to keep up with me on the trail, and now at this point he's basically able to outride me. I've taught him a little bit too well now, but I actually had a riding partner and someone who was even more passionate about snowmobiling and getting out on the trails than I was. I gave him the love for it through Upstate Snow, and here we are riding the trails and just having a blast during the wintertime, enjoying the great trail system that this state has created and all the volunteer clubs have created and maintained, and just those very special father-son outings, mean so much to me. Every single one of them is special, and I do not take for granted. So I knew that there was trouble when Chris down in North Carolina got a job as a teacher and was going back to grad school for his certification. Couldn't find anything in the meteorology field for a full-time career, so he turned to teaching, and he found a great job. But I also knew that that was going to take a lot of time and probably knock him out of providing the weather for Upstate Snow, and indeed that was the case. The same time this happened, Dave is a new father. His business has just boomed, and he doesn't have the time for it like he used to have, and he's about ready to walk away from it. And he didn't really know what to do. And for the first time since I was told to walk away from Upstate Snow back in 2014, I am in an employment situation now to where I can take it back over. I don't have restrictions on taking this back over. The following is incredible. We get a couple 100,000 page views a winter, unique page views. The Facebook audience is over 10,000. There are so many riders and so many clubs that have loved what Upstate Snow has become. Dave was basically able to take my dream and run with it, and I have the chance to take the torch back. And I'm not doing it all alone this time because I got my son with me this time. He's old enough now to where he has knowledge and experience in the sport. He is at the age to where he can be a big help with everything. He's not 9 years old like when I started this thing back in 2012. And just to be able to do something special like this with my son before he goes off and starts his adult life, I couldn't walk away from that opportunity. So things have changed drastically since I launched Upstate Snow. Video and podcasts have become the big thing, and that's exactly where we're going to go with this. The weather updates are not going to be the long blogs that I used to write out and Chris used to write out. We're going to go Facebook Live with these updates. We are going to plan a time, and we're going to say, hey, we're going to be here, we're going to have updates, and we're going to engage the audience live, interactive, and then we'll keep the video up and let people take a look at that. And I think that is going to be a great way to reach them. And also with all the clubs that make these great trails possible, they need a venue besides the sound bites whenever there's an interview from the media, which usually has an agenda behind it. They need some time, they need some space, they need a forum. We got the audience for it now, so we're going to cook up a podcast and really get the clubs involved and have them have a voice and have a platform for the different things they need with trail help that they need, trail issues. There's a lot of issues in snowmobiling right now that have become more apparent in recent years, especially with disrespect within the riding community with some riders. The majority, that's not the case, but with some, it's becoming a big issue. And we want to be a positive voice in that to really show people what snowmobiling truly is all about. It's about the experience, it's about family, it's about friends, it's about the camaraderie, about being out on the trails, enjoying the beautiful winter that we have here in upstate New York. And I just want to be a part of it and contribute back to it in a good way. This is all about having fun. Everything that's good about snowmobiling and leaving it better than I found it. Let's see where this goes from here. Upstate Snow 2.0, here we go. Let it snow.